You, yes, you, were never meant to be free. You were meant to be manageable. So, what if I told you that the world we're living in right now is designed to keep us from realizing our true power and our true potential? And not by accident, and not by coincidence, but by design. And I'm not talking about some sci fi dystopia. I'm talking about the world that we live in every single day. A world where most of us are sleepwalking through life, conditioned to believe that we have no real control, while being fed just enough illusion of choice to keep us complacent. And this isn't about fear, and it's not about conspiracy theories. This isn't speculation, it's fact, documented history, tangible patterns, strategies that have been used over and over again to keep us in line. And the point of this is not to create doom and gloom. The point is to bring awareness, because once we see the game for what it is, we stop playing by its rules. So what are some examples? Education as indoctrination. Most schools don't teach us how to think, they teach us what to think. Obedience over critical thinking, memorization over self-discovery, conformity over creativity. If we ask too many questions, if we challenge authority, if we don't fit into the mold, we're labeled as problems. But why? Because independent thinkers don't fit neatly into the system. Schools were designed during the Industrial Revolution to create workers, not sovereign individuals. And the moment we realize that, we start to see the game for what it is. What about media manipulation and narrative control? Turn on the news, scroll social media, look at what's being pushed in entertainment: fear, division, distraction. The biggest media companies are owned by the same corporations that profit off our attention, our consumption, and our disempowerment, and it's all carefully curated. What information is amplified, what's suppressed, what narratives are shaped to keep us in a constant state of reaction instead of reflection. Have you ever wondered why the stories that make us feel helpless always seem to take center stage? That's not by accident. What about economic enslavement? Let's talk money. Because if you control people's survival, you can control their choices. Debt, inflation, the 9-to-5 grind, rising costs. It's all designed to keep us working just hard enough to survive, but never quite enough to be free. And if you don't know how money works, if you don't understand the system, you'll spend your entire life trapped inside it. So who benefits from this? The same banking elites that own the Federal Reserve, the same corporations that set wages while hoarding wealth, the same institutions that make sure financial literacy isn't taught in schools. Because an educated, financially free population, that's a threat. Then there's the pharmaceutical and medical suppression. Instead of healing people, the system profits from sickness. Instead of empowering us to take control of our health, it pushes dependency on pills, treatments, and interventions that keep us coming back for more. The opiate crisis, manufactured. The suppression of holistic healing, intentional. The labeling of ancient wellness practices as pseudoscience, a tactic. The Rockefeller family funded medical schools to prioritize pharmaceuticals while discrediting natural healing. Why? Because a population that can heal itself doesn't need a trillion-dollar industry keeping them sick. And then there's suppression of ancient wisdom and spiritual truths. Energy healing, breath work, plant medicine, metaphysics. These things have been around for thousands of years, yet modern science is just now rediscovering them. Or more accurately, trying to repackage and control them. Ancient civilizations understood human potential in ways we're only beginning to reclaim. The Egyptians, Mayans, Vedic societies, they knew about energy consciousness and the power of the human mind. But that knowledge was buried, ridiculed, and erased from mainstream thought. Why? Because a person who understands their own energy, their own power, their own ability to heal and manifest is a person who doesn't need permission from the system. Then we have surveillance and psychological warfare. They study us, they track us, they shape behavior on a scale most people can't even comprehend. Edward Snowden exposed it. Project MK Ultra experimented with it. Big tech monetized it. Every app, every algorithm, every piece of data collected about you is used to predict, influence, and control your decisions. The goal is to keep us predictable, because a predictable person is a controllable person. And the more we fall into the cycle, reacting instead of thinking, consuming instead of creating, the easier it is for the system to dictate our reality. And then there's divide and conquer tactics. Race, gender, politics, religion, social issues. The more we fight each other, the less we fight the system that keeps us all oppressed. The more divided we are, the less power we have. This is an ancient strategy. Colonial powers used it to maintain control. Ruling elites used it to prevent uprisings. The media uses it to this day, because unity is the greatest threat to those in power. When people come together, they break free. That's why every major revolution in history was infiltrated, silenced, or manipulated. And then we have our toxic food, water, and environment. Fluoride in the water, pesticides in the food, processed junk that fuels disease instead of health. A sick, weak, and tired population is easier to control than a strong, sovereign one. Studies link common food additives to cognitive decline, hormonal disruption, and chronic illness. But instead of fixing it, they push pharmaceuticals to treat the symptoms of a system that was designed to keep you sick in the first place. And when people start waking up to it, they get labeled as conspiracy theorists. So, what's the solution? Well, here's the truth. These systems only work if we remain unaware of them. The moment you see them for what they are, you start to break free. Learn and question everything. Stop blindly accepting what you're told. Seek knowledge beyond the mainstream narrative. Reclaim your health. Stop feeding into the industries that profit from your sickness. Take control of your food, your water, your mental well-being. Strengthen financial independence. Understand how money works. Decentralize your income. Escape the paycheck to paycheck trap. Build community. Individual rebellion is powerful, but collective action is unstoppable. Surround yourself with people who see through the illusion. Practice critical thinking. Pay attention to who benefits from the narratives being pushed. If something doesn't add up, dig deeper. This isn't about fear, it's about empowerment. The system wants you to feel powerless, but in reality, you are more powerful than you've been led to believe. And that's exactly why they tried so hard to keep us from realizing it. Hope alone won't change anything. Awareness and action will. The moment you decide to wake up, to see through the illusion, and to take control of your own life, that's the moment you become unstoppable. Now the question is, what are you going to do with that power? All right, everyone. As always, I love you, and until next time, peace.